Hi guys, today we're building an Instagram content generating and repurposing system for sales business coaches inside of n8n. What a system is going to do is that it's going to scrape the reels from the accounts that were listed by parasiting on those accounts. Then it's going to analyze those reels and write a new script for our reels based on those information that's been scraped. And then as a final thing, it's going to generate 3 lead magnets and 3 posts for Instagram or LinkedIn based on this information as well. So let's go to our n8n and not waste any more time here. My name is Anna. I'm building qualitative AI automations for sales coaching businesses and explaining it to everyone. Okay, so now guys, as we're inside of n8n, let's actually start building it. So let's add our first step, that is going to be our manual trigger. So we can just work with this workflow whenever we need and just have it started. So our first node is going to be the HTTP request node. So as I said before, essentially what we start with is that we need to list the account that we're going to scrape our reels from and then actually scrape our reels. For that, we're going to use Epify software. So let's actually go to our Epify immediately. You are going to appear at Epify store, but create or log in if you have an account. And now let's go to our actors. And you need to search for this very actor, which is the Instagram Reel Scraper actor. It's very popular because it has like 68k people using that, and it's also crafted by Epify. So it's actually very reliable and actually very cheap to use. So we're going to need this one, but you know what? I don't want to list all of these fields manually. So let's go to our Epify synchronous actor run. Yeah, I have it already. Go search here. Let's go to our first link, and we're going to appear at Epify docs. So let's search for that tab we need, because this tab is run actor synchronously with input and return output. This one is going to work as we're going to be running that, but it's not going to return for us the actual output inside of our n8n. We're just going to need to fetch those information additionally by ourselves, like manually from Epify. So let's choose run actor synchronously with input and get data set items. That's the one we need. So now we're going to use this little window that our Epify docs has here. And the first thing we need to list here is our Epify API key. So let's go to our Epify. Let's go to settings. And let's go to API and integrations tab. And create an API key, or if you already have one, you can just create an infinite number here, I guess. So if you have created one, just copy that or create. And let's go back and paste it here. I didn't actually explain like why we're doing this, because if we're going to fill in all of these fields right here inside of Epify docs, by listing our agent with this actor ID, we're not going to need to list all of these fields inside of our HTTP request manually, because we can just now copy the curl here, paste it, and now have all our fields mapped out automatically without us. That's the thing I like about it. So that's why we're doing that. The next thing we need is our actor ID. So let's go to our Epify again, and let's go to our actors, to our Instagram Reel Scraper, and our ID is usually here, so we can see it right here. Let's just copy it right from our HTTP. Copy and paste it right here. The very last thing we need is our body, which is required, and we need it in a JSON format. So let's go to our actor once again, and you can run it by yourself actually, just inside of Epify as its primary function. But I just don't want to test it to just run it without the purpose, because we're actually going to do a lot of test runs here inside of n8n. But when you are running this agent, this is how our agents are actually called actors inside of Epify, pardon me. So when you're running these actors, you need to fill in the actual inputs. So our input here is Instagram username and the maximum reels per profile. So I listed Layla Hormozi as just the first one I just thought about to have us just running a test in it. But now let's click on JSON. And we're going to copy this batch of JSON code, go back to our synchronous actor run and paste it right here. Now we actually have our curl ready, and let's just copy that. Let's click copy, go back to our n8n, and now we can click on this button, which is import curl, paste it, and now we have everything mapped for us. Also, just make sure, guys, already noticed it, is that we don't have our actual API key transferred from our synchronous run docs. So let's go to API again, copy our API key once again, and just paste it right there. Copy, and yeah. Okay, I also don't like that we have 4 unnecessary fields here, because we just actually don't need them right now. They're all false. So let's just delete them. Let me just clean it up, and I think I can do it like this. I can just, yeah, I can just delete them all. And I think it's going to work. It must work. I will not execute this step right now because I just wanted to list the next nodes we're going to have. So, but we're going to do it soon. Our next node is going to be the limit node. What it's going to do is that with that, we're just going to avoid some extensive results coming in inside of our next nodes, all the information that we're going to have scraped from this HTTP request node. So you can just regulate it by yourself without changing the JSON inside of our HTTP request node. So let's just set it as 2, like why not? And it's also annoying me is that we don't have an actual name here. Let's just name it as Reel Scraper. Okay, now our next nodes are going to be, I think it's going to be the Google Sheet node, right? Yeah, so the next thing we're going to create is the self-managing system. So what it's going to do is that it's going to exclude all of the reels that are coming in that are duplicate. For example, if the other that we listed inside of our HTTP request reel scraper node, if they didn't post today, or they posted 1 reel instead of 3 as we have it listed right there. And so if such thing happens, our reels are getting duplicated, like they scrape 2 times or more times, and we just have extra information coming in. So to avoid that, we need to filter those information, and we're going to filter it by our ID, the ID of our reel, if you wish. So let's just add the Google Sheet node. I think I showed you before is that I have such Google Sheet, and it's kind of big. But what's just going in here is that we only need this columns right now. Yeah, it's just the ID, timestamp, caption, hashtags, video URL, username, and yeah, we don't need scrape transcript right now column because we don't have our actual reels transcribed into text, but we're going to have it soon, so we're just going to fill in these columns. So let's go to our n8n, and I think our action is going to be get rows in a sheet. I think so. Let's just list our document and check it, our sheet. Yeah, because we have an option of combining filters here. Yeah, it's correct. So we just leave it as and. And now the next thing for our self-managing system is going to be a merge node. To just merge all the information that is coming in from here, have it checked if it's duplicating and still coming inside of our merge from here. I think this explanation was slightly more sophisticated than I wanted, but okay. So we need to set a mode here as combine, merge matching items together. And our fields to match is going to be ID. The output type is keep non-matches, and our output data form is all okay. You can keep it like that. And did I set a filter here? I didn't set it, yeah. We also need to add a filter right here. So let's click add filter. And just also set it by checking it as by ID column. Okay, now it should be working all correct. Yeah, and let's add one more Google Sheet node before we go into testing our HTTP request. And it's just going to fill those columns that I've been showing you before. So let's say append row in a sheet, yeah. And list our documents. I don't want to be geeked out here. Okay, it's just fetching our columns for us. Okay, yeah, it's all correct. Now we need to actually run it to have all the information. We need to map it here. So let's just execute workflow and see how it runs. Let's just go to our Epify and check if it's all okay, if it's all running. It must be running though. It has 31 runs. Yeah, it started in the crawler. That's great, it's running. So let's just wait for it to finish because I think I have like 3 limit there. Do I? Yeah. So let's just wait for it to run. Okay, now it gives us the error that is stopped the execution because I stopped it, just because we don't have our fields mapped yet. But now as we have all our information coming in, let's just list our ID. Timestamp, it must be, I think it's somewhere here. Yeah, timestamp, caption, I guess where it is. Yeah, here. I think our hashtags are empty. Yeah, they're empty. That's good. And we need to list our video URL, but just make sure that you list not this short little URL, but the actual video URL, which is big. Yeah, this is the one we need. And let's list a username. Yeah. Okay, now we have them mapped out. And let's just go back to our Google Sheets and see if it's all working. It must be okay. Yeah. We have the information for our 2 reels here, and we don't have any duplicates. That's great. And we have our video URL, username, caption, timestamp, everything that we need for now. Okay, now I think we're good to go into our next software that we're going to be using. I guess so. Yeah, okay. Let's add a next HTTP request. And we're going to be using an assembly.ai software here. So essentially what assembly.ai is that a software that allows us to transform our videos, our Reels, from MP4 format inside of our MP3 format, which is our audio format. And also I love assembly.ai because it allows us to automatically transform our audio into our text. And the text format is exactly the one we need because we're going to be further working with our text. We're going to break it down into pieces, and then we're actually going to be generating a new script for us. So let's go to our assembly.ai. Let's just search first for the API key to just have it automatically mapped out. Now, assembly.ai. Let's go to first link and create an account or login if you have an account. So let's go here. Already have one, and let's go to API keys tab. And just create an API key, or if you already have one, just copy that. And let's send a header and say authorization. And I actually don't think that assembly.ai needs the bearer thing, but let's just add it for the sake of demonstration. Why not? Okay. We'll also need to set another parameter that is going to be content type. So let's say this content type application JSON. Okay. Now we can go and search our URL. So I want to do it together with you guys because we need to go to our documentation actually to search for it. And yeah, we have a link for our documentation right here. So let's click on that. And let's go to API reference. And let's search a little bit lower to just see those URL because I think I grabbed it from here. I'm not sure. Okay, here. We have our HTTP v2 transcript. This is the one we need. Let's just copy that. It's under the authorization, not that far from the top. And let's paste it right here. Now it should be all okay, but we also need to send a body to actually reference for him which our video URL is, because another thing that is cool about assembly.ai is that it can search the video by its URL and you don't need to download it first, as for example we would need that if we would be using Whisper ChatGPT module, which can also transcribe the video into text, but you need to download it first. You don't need to do that with assembly.ai, so that's cool. We just need to reference our URL. So let's click using JSON. And I'm not that good in writing JSONs, but let's just say quotes audio URL, quotes, column, quotes, and let's list our video URL from our Google Sheet node. Let's get rid of the space. Another quote. And let's add a final bracket. It must be working. And also make sure that you set up a method as post, because I'm not sure that they say that inside of documentation that you need to set up post for this one. They say the REST API, but we actually need the post one. Yeah. Okay. Let's just try to execute it and see if we have the correct output. Yeah, it's the one we need because we have our audio URL listed and all of the fields. Yeah, it's all right. Okay. Now we will add the waiting module, because to just avoid those things when we to just avoid those things when we are running our module and our assembly AI just doesn't have enough time to actually transcribe our video into our text, because like for example, if there are a lot of reels coming inside, he just needs more time for that. So now, to just not wait that long, I will say just 15 seconds. I think he must do that in those time, but let's, you know what, let's just copy this one because they're kind of similar. Let's copy, paste, and connect them. And all the things that we need to change here is that we need to write slash and list those ID that we have from this module. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Get rid of the space. And we don't need the content type application JSON anymore. We don't need the body anymore. And I think we're going to be good. And also the method as post, as get. Yeah, let's set it as get. Now it should be okay. Let's execute it and see if he had completed all those stuff. It's actually executed the wait module first. Meanwhile, I will explain what we're doing next. So it's going to be the 4 ChatGPT modules that are going to be doing their own thing, because I wanted to do it as AI agents first, but I had some issues with mapping the JSON fields that I needed because it just couldn't cope with those open routers Claude brain inside of my AI agent. But doesn't matter, I'm going to use the ChatGPT OpenAI node here just for the sake of demonstration, because of course you can play around with that and make it more convenient, because it's actually just 4 ChatGPT nodes here. But let's just stick with it right now, and let me just check it out if it has all correct. And yeah, we have our text here. Yeah, the transcribed reel, that's great. So let's add our next node, and it's going to be ChatGPT OpenAI, message the model, and I'm just copy them, so because I need 4 of them, more, and 1 more. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to list the prompts that I need inside of them, because they all have different prompts. So yeah, just give me a second and I will list all of them, and then we're going to break down which each of those prompts is doing. Okay guys, now I have all those prompts listed that I need. So let's add a model. I didn't add the model yet. So let's say GPT-4o. I don't really care right now about it. Okay, so let's just take a look at the prompts that I have here. So our first ChatGPT node, if you will, is going to be the one that is going to filter and generate suggestions from those transcribed reel that we have from our previous nodes, this one. So let's just say filter and generate suggestions. I just think it's going to be too much, and it's going not to show it fairly for us, but filter and suggestion, filter and generate suggestions. Yeah, it's not full. Let's just say generate suggestions. It's going to be okay. All right, so what's going on with our prompt is it says that I run a business educational Instagram channel. I'm looking through the business archives to find mentions of strategies and insights that I can repurpose into content for my channel. And what I ask him to do here is that break down this very transcription into pieces. And the first thing he must say is that if this content is about business, about some sales advice or coaching advice or some business advice, some entrepreneurship, something like that, if it's true or false. And if it's false, it just leaves all the fields empty. That's the important thing, because sometimes it happens, and I was just freaking out a bit because why are all these fields empty, but it's actually because of that. And it's also like kind of this little self-managing system. The next thing that is happening here is that I ask him to list the business insights to infer them from this very text, and suggestions, step-by-step guidance about if those reel had some strategy, for example, and he just breaks it down into steps for us. It also infers the pain point, and this is basically all he does here. Yeah, I just ask him about that and list some context here as well. So this is what you're doing. And also, as you see, I ask him to output all of this in JSON. And because I was always forgetting to list this option, but if we are saying to our agent or to our AI node that we need a JSON format as our response, we need to actually use it inside, list it inside of our options. So let's just say output format, and let's say type as JSON object. And now it should be all okay. I just want to execute only this one to see if it's all working correctly. Okay, let's take a look what he has for us. All right, God bless, we have our JSON all correct. He has his suggestions, pinpoint, his verdict, yes, it must be the verdict. Yeah, true. And business insight and step-by-step instruction. That's great. What do we have here though? Embrace a wide range of emotions, learn from failures and frustrations, achieve greater personal freedom. Okay, that's great. Now our next node that is going to work with those information that this node just generated for us is the one that writes a new script for us. So let's give him the appropriate name, which is going to be writing new script. Let's just say write a script. Let's take a look at our prompt. Let's say expression, click here. And the prompt looks like similar here, but we're just asking him to write the actual script, about 100 words, and also some rules about that. This is all about it. But we also list here the fields we're referencing to the previous node. So I have it undefined here because I was just copy pasting it from my test workflow. But let's just do it one more time and step-by-step guide. Let's just search for it. Suggestions for improvement, and I don't have the pain point listed here. I want to list it, so let's just say suggestion. Let's add one more comma. List our pain point, and I think that's all. I don't think it has anything more here, right? Oh, why you didn't release the business insight? Let's say the business insight as well. Okay, now I like it. All right, now let's try to execute him. And yeah, let's also say, I don't think that we need to say a JSON option here because he just has one field here. Yeah, let's just leave it like that. Actually tell him to return it as JSON. Okay, let's say output format, JSON object, and let's just stick with this one. Let's just wait for him to execute it. And now I'll break down the next one. So this one, if I'm not mistaken, if we'll break down the prompt right now, it's going to generate the lead magnets first. Yeah, it's generating the lead magnets. Okay, he actually generated our script, so let's take a peek at what he has. Also can't say that this prompt is that good for generating the script, but I just have it as a test one, okay? So, and I also have all the prompts listed in the link down below in the description, so just check it out if you're also building this AI automation. But here's our script. And it's kind of not that good, I'm pretty sure. Hey entrepreneurs, let's talk emotions and growth. Okay, done. No, it's not that bad, but we can actually just work on the prompt better because it's just the basic one. And it doesn't have any clear structure of how it must sound and what is the context of our reel making channel. But okay, let's just leave it like that. We have our script generated now, and let's say lead magnet generator, and let's take a look at our prompt. This prompt is kind of big, so I'm just not going to break down it all, but I have 3 structures of the lead magnets I have here, like for the sales coaching businesses. I've been doing it for that. So yeah, I have some rules here, and I also have a requirement to output it in a JSON format. So we have the original topic here, the sales angle, and he's also kind of making those analysis, and he also creating those 3 lead magnets. Okay, let's also say, also need to correct the references here. So our first one is content to transform, and it's simply our new script that we just generated. So let's say it like this. We have our original sources correct. Oh my god, really? No, we actually don't. Let's delete it, and here it is. Okay, it's inside of our assembly.ai. I didn't also give it a name. That's okay. Business insight. It's from the generate suggestions. Yeah. Step by step. Also don't have pain point listed here again, but I'm gonna just skip here because I don't want to waste too much time on it. So, and key suggestions, what are you talking about? Okay, the suggestions. All right, now it's correct. Add an option, output format, and let's say JSON object again. Now let's execute it and move on to our very last ChatGPT node, which is going to be a post generator. So this one has kind of similar prompt, but it's more tailored for generating text-based Instagram or LinkedIn post that you can, for example, post after you post those reel that we have created with our new script from those reel that we've been paradising on. But basically, yeah, this is what you're doing. He has some critical adaptation requirement. Yeah, this part is actually interesting, and I really loved it when I saw him generating this, because it says that even if the original content is about general business, fitness, personal development, and etc., you must reframe it through a sales lens. I like it though, because in this way we can tailor those content that is coming in from different accounts into a more sales coaching topic, or any topic that you're basically doing this AI automation on. But that's what I'm saying. And yeah, it's basically the same. It also has those structure about those different posts that must be, and formatting requirements. So yeah. Okay, now let's correct the references. I know they're also wrong. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna just copy them from here. Good now? Okay. Yeah. All right. Do we need to add an option? I don't remember now. Is there? Yeah, there is the JSON formatting requirement. Okay. Let's say output format. Let's say JSON again, and let's execute this step. While it's executing, let's just check it out which lead magnets does he have. But oh, it's kind of long. It's pretty long. Master emotional resilience to close more deals. Is emotional resilience holding back your sales performance? Bro, that's good. It's the 6-step framework to building emotional resilience in sales teams. It's kind of good. I like it. I would dive more into it, but just to have it finished. And we have the posts here. He even added the emojis here. I like it. All amateurs think sales is all about the numbers. Real sales champions know it's about managing emotions. The greatest closers experience the full spectrum of feelings. That's good. Okay, guys. Now, as we have finished with our 4 ChatGPT nodes that are doing different tasks for us, working with those information that we have scraped from our reels, from those others that we're parasiting on, let's add our very last node, that is going to be the Google Sheet node again, but it's going to add all of this information that we've just generated from these nodes into our previous Google Sheet. So let's say update row in sheet, I guess, and let's say document the same one, sheet the same one. Okay, let's just map them here. Okay guys, now as we have everything listed, it was slightly tedious, but let's just check out if we have all of them. And yeah, we have all of our lead magnets, all of our posts inside of our Google Sheet, together with the earlier information that we've been filling in. And we also have our lead magnets and posts, like all information for both our reels, which is also great that if we're scraping 10 reels or 20 reels, we're going to have lead magnets and posts for all of them. So I think that's great, and we're basically done with this AI automation, guys. And I think it's kind of long here, but it was interesting to actually build it because you have our preset system, and what we can do is that we can just set up a different trigger, for example, a schedule trigger or something like that. And so we have this AI automation triggered on some time and just triggering it every day and just scraping for us some new real ideas, for example, from our niche. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got something valuable from it. Of course, I'm going to link all of the links to the prompts, and I think I'm even going to leave the actual JSON file so you can just download this AI automation for yourself. If you don't want to build it, just have it for yourself. So yeah, thank you guys so much. More value soon. See you in the next videos.